Ship's log, entry 10-18. 2 homicides have occurred within my halls. Flenderson and Henderbon, illithid security guards assigned to protect the angelic Admiral Grice, were slaughtered and drained of their blood just outside of the bridge. Unfortunately, the murderer was not visible to security cameras.
Note, the Lickham's Company is not liable for any loss of property or life incurred due to the failure of equipment supplied by third-party vendors. Some restrictions apply, void where prohibited.
While some members of the home team scrubbed through video footage, Engineer Trizzy descended deep into my dark bowels, where she encountered the head of security for the CC Avulsion, the flagship of the Mind Flayer fleet currently surrounding me. She was unable to talk the anxious soldier down and had to resort to tormenting him with phantoms of his deceased loved ones before cracking his skull with a wrench. All of this occurred mere meters away from the unauthorized fifth-dimensional wormhole currently writhing inside my heart. The Velvet Foxes continued their investigation in the hangar bay, where they found a nautiloid spaceship prepared to launch. Presumably, this was the escape route for the killer, so St. Cecilia disabled the vehicle. The detectives learned that one member of the Avulsion, Commodore Tesfaye, may have had motives related to his demotion within the Mind Flayer military. He is currently locked inside of Andre's place with the Pineapple Protocol. Finally, the investigators visited the Wizard's Tower currently under construction towards my stern. The arcane expert Wallace the Artuk agreed to cast Detect Magic at the scene of the crime, which revealed that no illusion spells had been used in the commission of the murder. This would mean only one thing: the suspect was naturally immune to the effects of cameras, and thus a vampire. Realizing the truth, the Velvet Foxes entered a medbay where Dr. Jovan was performing the autopsies, whereupon Admiral Grice arrested St. Cecilia for the murders of Flenderson and Henderbon.
I want to give Austin nothing usable for an intro. Just a lot of like, yep, everything's good.
You know, if we don't give Austin anything to like use as the intro, then we'll have to be like, you know, a podcast that just starts with the content of the podcast. And how dare we expect listeners to put up with that?
No one talked about farts for the first 6 minutes. What's going on with the podcast?
Is this thing broke?
Yeah.
Did I download the wrong file?
It's how you know the beginning of the end of a podcast is coming, when it's like, oh no, they've become all business. They don't have any time for the boner jokes anymore.
Yeah, now it's just a job. So last we left the adventure, you all were investigating the double murder on the Rezubian of some security guards from the Illithid fleet. And then after many interviews, you realize that the killer is a vampire because they don't show up on cameras. You return to sickbay, upon which time St. Cecilia has been placed under arrest for the murders of Flenderson and Henderbon.
Yeah.
Before anything else progresses, I don't know if we would need to do a roll for this, but can we map out, like, do we know if St. Cecilia has been accounted for by members of the crew during the time that the murder took place? Like, can we point to people who can account for, I was with St. Cecilia at that time?
Yeah, I'll get to that. But before we do that, I do need to ask what is maybe a dumb question, but sometimes those are the ones you need to ask. Is there any other vampire on this crew? Like, is there anyone like a vampire or another vampire on the Rezubian?
That's a great question. You don't know everybody on the Rezubian. You would need to go to HR to learn that information.
Okay.
I would really hope that there's no other vampires on the crew, because if there is at least one other vampire and yet everyone's still gone, a vampire did it, arrest St. Cecilia, that feels... That feels bad. Like, I'm not saying it's good to arrest St. Cecilia because a vampire did the crime, but if St. Cecilia is the only vampire, that's at least less terrible.
We were also pretty close to the action.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
It's still a racism, just to be clear.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
I guess if nothing else, I'm the most prominent vampire, so it makes sense in a racist way. Yes. When I guess it's Admiral Grice is the one who is like you're under arrest or anything, everything like that. Saint Cecilia is going to be very quiet and kind of in thought. Sort of like how like when a Magic the Gathering player is like taking a really complex turn and like you could see they're just like deep in the tank. And at the end of it is just going to kind of let out a sigh before she'll like raise her arms up and say like, okay.
Admiral Grice, who is like a 7-foot tall angel illithid, so like the wings are like slick and cephalopodian. Ooh, there's an adjective there. I know there is. Just kind of walks forward and I think ties your hands together. Like you're not getting fully like incapacitated because you're surrendering yourself, but it just starts to arrest Saint Cecilia to bring her back to the fleet.
Saint Cecilia will say, I don't want to phrase this. I need you to trust me that looking into where I was during that time is not going to be helpful.
Okay. So, Bill looks at Saint Cecilia and says, "So you don't want me to?" And then Bill makes his now classic Undertaker throat slash motion.
Not unless you would like the ship to get blown up by the flotilla, but I mean, you know.
All right. Fine.
Yeah. I mean, the subtext here is that there are 36 ships with their guns trained on the Rezubian, and if someone isn't arrested for this, you all die. So it's like a noble sacrifice. But yeah, you are leaving unsaid why you aren't, offering an alibi, which is certainly a tactic.
I can't say it to the person. I can't say it in the room because he'll understand me. And
look, the thing I will say here is it clear to us that Saint Cecilia being arrested will mean that they won't shoot us all down? Because my fear, at least like the way Trizzy had sort of understood what was about to happen, was if they find out who did it and it was one of our crew, we're all going to get blown up. And this is why Trizzy is there going like, I have to prove that Saint Cecilia didn't do it because we're going to get blown up if that's what happened.
I realize that this is just like an investigation mission and that's what we should be doing, but like all I want to do is take Admiral Grice hostage and force it to bed. But like I won't. I'm easing up as best I can.
Yeah. So to be clear, what Saint Cecilia is trying to sort of imply is it's not that you're going to find out I did it if you look into it, but finding out I didn't do it without finding out who did it doesn't fix the problem.
I should say that the audience who heard the downtime scene knows where Cecilia was, which was with Lisa the clown and then with Dot, who's confined to quarters as a kind of a prisoner, neither of which are great character witnesses because both of them have been misbehaving recently. They're both,
but they are both witnesses, though.
Right.
I mean, they're better than no witnesses in a I'm gonna get murdered situation.
To speak, I guess, out of character, but to the audience, that is primarily the reason why Saint Cecilia can't say anything, is because the two people she was with are both people she wants to protect from being interrogated by the 7-foot tall illithid who's armed and angry. So in her mind, she's like, well, this can be solved without involving them.
Yeah. I don't know.
At least that's our hope.
Yeah. In character, I don't know if Trizzy's like picked up on all the subtleties of this, but I think that Trizzy does trust Saint Cecilia to go, if you tell us not to go that route, we'll find another way.
Bill Webb has definitely not picked up on that at all. Just to be clear, I don't need to roll for perception on that. I just know him.
Yeah. So if Bill Webb and Trizzy accept Saint Cecilia's very noble gesture here and let her be taken away, we will cut back to Cecilia in a moment. Are you two going to continue the investigation? Dr. Joven is here. She has the autopsy report. You see that Flenderzon and Henderbon were insanguinated by a vampire.
Yeah, the autopsy might tell us something.
Yeah. Can I get medicine checks, I guess, just to be able to comprehend what you read?
17.
5.
Yes, 17 succeeds. So, Bill Webb, you look over it and you understand like the method of death was actually a pretty quick slash across the throat, and then their blood was drank quickly from the wound. This seems like something consistent with Cecilia's blade that she carries. It's not a slam dunk proof, but it matches up. You see why they would have come to that conclusion. But yeah, vampirism 100%, not in doubt. That was correct. And they were killed quickly by a vampire who approached. They were not threatened. You remember from the tape, they were like, "Oh, who's this? Who's this person?" They were not bothered. Then suddenly they were dead. So it all checks out and makes sense. There's no like clues to the murder you're missing. You just have to find the vampire.
I don't know how vampires work, but I had a thought. The two boys who I named, and I can't, Flenderzon and Henderbon. I don't know if this is a dumb question, but can't we determine if Saint Cecilia drank their blood by, I don't know, looking for the blood inside Saint Cecilia? Is there a magic spell that can find Flenderzon and Henderbon's blood inside? And if it's not there, wouldn't that exonerate? Is that a crazy idea? I don't know how vampires work. Is it still there?
That's certainly possible. I would assume that when Saint Cecilia gets taken back to the fleet, they will do their own tests. But as we talked about before, it's not about proving she didn't do it. They're going to kill her unless you find the person.
You know what this is? This is an ace attorney trial where it's not enough to prove that your client is innocent. You do also have to work out who's guilty.
Yeah, I'm guilty no matter what until you find the right evidence and then interrogate the actual criminal.
This justice system is crazy.
Mind flayer culture is if someone makes you angry, you can enslave their entire family. That's their justice system. So
I see. I'm really in tickled by the idea that Illithids would have the ace attorney justice system. There's I get to the ship and there's a lot of colorful detectives and lawyers.
The elder brain with the big gavel.
Trizzy is gonna ask Dr. Joven. So, you've probably got a manifest copy of who we've got on the crew. Was Saint Cecilia the only vampire here on the crew?
Confidentiality.
Well, yes. We're not asking for specific patient records. We're asking for a yes or no. Is there at least one other person who's a vampire on the ship?
I guess persuasion? Just because vampirism is a medical condition, it actually is.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
It's not appropriate.
Okay, I'm not good at persuasion.
No!
That is a 1. It's not a botch, it's a 1.
No, Dr. Joven says no, and then uses magnetism to emphatically lock their computer in front of you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Damn, I should have got in on that, but I didn't have an argument at all. Bill. Okay. You know what? No. Bill has to try. So Bill goes up to Dr. Joven and says, "Okay, so let me ask you something. You have doctor-patient confidentiality, correct?"
Correct.
Okay, and you also have whatever is the space equivalent of the Hippocratic Oath, where you can do no harm, correct?
No.
Really? Oh, tight. That's better. Okay. All right. Damn.
It's the Hippocratic Oath, and it's made by GIF, the giant hippos. So
Jesus.
They love it.
Okay. Aren't
I really thought that one was going to go over better. I thought that was going to be very enjoyable.
I very much enjoyed that one, Austin. Don't worry.
okay, but here's the thing: if we don't figure this out, someone on the crew is going to be killed, and also we're in a very tense situation. Aren't there exceptions to doctor-patient confidentiality when there are a lot of lives on the line?
No.
All right, Joven.
Privacy and bodily autonomy. Fuck them.
I mean, Laura rolled a 1, so Joven's that's the game is Joven is not interested.
Okay. What about intimidation, though? Can I try to intimidate Dr. Joven?
If Laura rolled a crit, I would have been like, Dr. Joven's psyched about this. She loves giving out personal information.
It's fine. It's fine. Bill, okay. What if we go to HR and intimidate HR?
All right. I mean, I just want to intimidate someone right now.
Yeah. So if you go see Ophelia in HR, or if we can try this again.
Other thought. Would the kitchen perhaps have a record of who is on a list for the blood replacements? Is there a list of who's got what specialist meal requirements? Is it in the list with this member of the crew is a vegan and this one's allergic to space peanuts?
And we're on good terms with the bartender, aren't we?
Yeah, I think going to see Andre at Andre's place is a great move. It should be reminded everyone that someone there is waiting for you for an interrogation last episode.
The Admiral. Or not the Admiral, the Commodore.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Commodore's there and the bartender there. So we have two people to talk to, so that makes sense that's where we should go.
Yeah. Look at us. We got a plan.
Yeah. Bill's just sharpening his knife. And it needs to look very intimidating for what's to come.
All right, so Trizzy and Bill Webb are going to go to Andre's place. Let's join St. Cecilia and Admiral Grice walking through the hallway. You're being perp-walked back to the shuttle so you can be taken to the Evulsion, the flagship of the fleet, presumably to be interrogated and executed. Do you have anything to say as you're walking?
St. Cecilia is going to say, this is not the first time someone has tried to march me off to my death before.
So you're a career criminal.
No, it was also for mistaken reasons before, but it's kind of a weird nostalgia, very macabre, but an old friend has hugged you.
It seems statistically unlikely that you would have been framed for a serious crime multiple times within a normal lifespan.
Oh, do you not understand how vampires work? I am very old.
Vampirism is extremely rare in Illithid society. Actually, I think he might be even misspeaks. Maybe says vampirism is very rare in Illithid society. Having to get used to being oh yeah, I defected. I'm not part of that culture anymore.
I'm a good boy now.
Mm-hmm. How old are you, Admiral?
Is this not considered a rude question in Earth culture? I got a primer from my sociologist aboard the Evulsion and was taken to understand I should not ask this question.
It can be, but in this circumstance, it's not really, because I'm not really trying to battle you on age here. I have no shame in being as old as I am.
The planet upon which I was born has rotated around the sun 427,000 times.
I remember my 420s. Wild times.
Oh my god.
They were pretty good. That was a long time ago, though.
Mm-hmm. Given your dire circumstances, I find this levity unprofessional.
Well, it sometimes helps you get through these tough work days, Gotta keep a little jovial spirit up. Plus, I don't know. Do you really want to be dour and screaming?
That is usually the circumstances that I find myself in when escorting someone to the punishment chamber, yes.
Yeah, well, I guess been there, done that. So, sorry. Should have been there the first time.
Did you rend your garments as well? This is a very common occurrence when I'm bringing someone before the council. I don't really understand what protection or efficacy that affords, but it's very common.
No, that's not really as much of a thing. Do you watch a lot of movies? It feels like a very dramatized way of doing things. Besides, my hands are tied up. How would I do that?
I don't have personal time for frivolous activities such as movies, but as part of a hive mind, I enjoyed their plot lines through osmosis.
Oh, well, what are some of your favorites?
I would say I'm partial to the Sharko series. Sharko goes to the mall, Sharko goes to prison, Sharko escapes from prison. Films of this nature.
Oh man, that's a deep cut. Which I can't reference the other ones because the other ones had Bill Webb in it. Those are some excellent ones. I hope you remember that the point of Sharko Goes to Prison and Sharko Escapes from Prison was about the grave miscarriage of justice that was performed.
I believe it was really to portray the follies of nonconformity and how they should be swiftly punished, but art, my understanding, is open to analysis. So you're entitled to your own incorrect understanding of the piece.
If you're going to be wrong, sure, but like, why watch the movie if you're just going to take away the wrong thing from it?
While we are on the subject of narratives, do you have a reason for the double homicide you committed and will shortly be killed in retribution for?
Absolutely not. I love my job, and my job is to see the illithid culture integrated into the wider galactic space. That would do nothing to assist that goal. I do not know those guards. I have no reason.
If you love illithid culture, then surely you're aware of the punishment for such a crime. To have your selfhood stripped away and become a thrall until your dying day.
Does someone like come in afterwards and like after the first person who was enthralled to me dies to like take over, or is that just considered getting off from a life sentence?
Under normal circumstances, you would be part of the hive mind. The elder brain would oversee the thraldom and all those related functions. However, we have recently and Admiral Grice like searches for a word, like maybe in his native language there isn't like a word for leaving the elder brain, because like you don't do that. That's not like a thing that happens. And then he just says like, we have left our home, and so things are different, and we are still adapting and finding new paths for our lives. So I'm not exactly sure how it will all play out.
Can I ask you a question?
Theoretically, I could prevent you by covering your mouth, but I do not wish to be bitten and drained of my plasma, so I suppose you are able to ask me a question, yes.
I mean, you don't really have to worry about that. I've never drank the blood of another innocent person before, or a living person before. Let me correct that.
Mm-hmm. Is that your question? It didn't end in a question mark, as is normal for such a statement.
Very factual. I like that about you. No, the question I was going to ask is like, what are you going to do if it turns out that I am not the culprit?
I believe that would be bad for both of us, because my leadership is somewhat tenuous. As a eulitharid, a future elder brain, I am the natural leader of our fleet. But now that we are no longer networked with an elder brain, everyone has independence of thought, which means disagreements are arising at an unprecedented rate. And I think a mistake of this caliber, gesturing to you, would be dangerous for my continued leadership of the flotilla.
Maybe it would be a good idea to hold things off until you are absolutely certain, then? Maybe keep things quiet? I could keep a secret.
So you're not lying about anything, but it feels like what you're asking for is to deceive the crew of the Evulsion. So I think this is a deception roll.
Okay. 16.
All right. Yeah, I was looking for 15. Admiral Grice says, this is a logical way to prevent negative externalities should you not be the true murderer. And so I am forced to agree with you outside of my own wishes here. What do you suggest? We hide in a broom closet of some sort?
Well, that would feel very unnecessary. Is there not like... What would be... Actually, I guess I should ask Austin. What would be like a place on the ship right now that I feel like would be relatively like unpopulated, like uninhabited? No one's going to really be going there.
Yeah, I could definitely make up one. Do you have? I'm thinking like visually, what's the most interesting place for you two to hang out while the investigation continues? You know, because there's like the unfinished wizard's tower, but then you would have to walk by a bunch of people. The thing that comes to mind is like, oh, what's a part of a spaceship that people don't hang around in? Is like life support.
Okay. It was that, or I was thinking of the blood tanks underneath the cafeteria or whatever, or the food processing.
I mean, the only other suggestion I would throw out there is, Trizzy has made made it explicitly known no one is to go down to her area of the ship. That is a place people know not to go there.
Yeah, but then you whooped somebody's ass and then left their body with a sticky note on it down there, and
I did leave a body with a sticky note down there. That's not ideal.
Yeah. I think that the food processing area is full of people doing repairs to the blood tanks that were riddled full of holes and stuff. So
That's right. Okay, then yeah, no one would be hanging around life support right now.
yes, these systems are largely autonomous in modern vehicles, so there shouldn't be anyone to see that I am not delivering you to your justice immediately.
Wonderful. It sounds like we have a plan then.
All right, Admiral Grice leads you away. The pineapple protocol is still in effect, I guess, and you haven't had your access revoked, so you're able to move about the ship together. Where are Trizzy and Bill Webb right now? What are y'all talking about?
We got to go to 10 forward and talk to the Commodore and Andre.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Andre's and see if we can get a look at the list of who needs blood in their drinks.
Perfect. Yeah, you're approaching. Are the two of you discussing anything? I don't think in character you've spoken to each other yet.
Oh goodness, I really hope Saint Cecilia knows what she's doing.
Seems like a bad plan to give yourself up, but
They're very good with words. Very good with words. And I feel like if anyone gets away well from being one-on-one with their captors, it's the kind of person who could be like, ahaha, maybe you're the person who is I'm the captor and you're the villain. I don't know. That's like, you can do that with words if you know how to word.
Can't vampires turn into mist and just get away? Is that a thing? Or did I just see a movie?
That might be a thing. I mean, I should have said I was a vampire and let myself get taken away. I can teleport magically. That might have worked.
Bill Webb, roll nature to know about vampires and their biology?
21.
Nice.
You know that actually there are a number of different strains of vampirism. So there are some who can't cross like running water. There are some who are harmed by sunlight or garlic or steaks. Some who can turn into mist. There are literally just different kinds.
Okay, so all of the old vampire lore is right for someone.
Absolutely, yeah. Saint Cecilia does not appear to be able to turn into mist or bats or wolves, but yeah, that's certainly true somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look. If they've not met many vampires, like you could say vampires can do whatever you want. You could be like, you better let me go soon, or I'll turn you into an insect with my laser vision.
I can't hear this line without being like, I threatened to morgue out on all these guys.
You're gonna morb the shit out of them. All right, so you two are approaching Andres as you say this. You see there are a couple people who are trapped here because of the Pineapple Protocol. Looking at my list, let's say like the lowest ranking crew members. There's Veltari, the Bozog. There's Jeff, who is made of swords? Question mark.
Yeah.
Don't remember that.
Look, I think we can take the question mark off of there now. I think we can confidently say Jeff, who is made of swords.
Perfect. Jeff is made of swords there. And then obviously Andre, the incubus bartender, is there. And in the back, in a booth, you see Commodore Tesfaye, who is a mind flayer in the traditional like sense, big metal spikes, black cape, looking extremely threatening and dangerous, kind of huddled over, not even huddled, proudly, of straight posture, sitting, just eating a huge brain in the corner, presumably artificial, but cuts a picture for sure.
Right. Bill, are you on good talking terms with Andre? Because like the extent of my conversations with Andre are, would you like the ice cream machines fixed? Okay, I fixed the ice cream machines, and a smile.
I think Andre has given me amphibians at some point or another. So
Yep.
yeah, I think we're fine.
Yeah. So it seems like 2 characters to interview 2 players. Where are you going?
Okay, yeah, we can split up since we're not actually splitting up in the room.
Yeah. If we're doing a split up on these 2, I think Trizzy's instinct is to go and chat with Tesfaye, because Trizzy worries that Bill might be a bit more "you did this" at them than she would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. That is definitely what would have happened.
I don't think she's got a plan of how she's gonna do that conversation, but she thinks she can do it less aggressively than Bill.
All right, Trizzy, you scrungle on over to the booth, your little goblin-y ways, just kind of popping up. I'm just imagining from the Commodore's perspective, eating a big brain and then just seeing a goblin like rising up in the seat in front of him, just being like, "Can I help you?"
Hi. We've not met. Are you possibly Tesfaye?
Aye, soldier. Used to be Commodore. It's ensign now, as much as it matters.
I'm sorry to hear. Was this? Sorry, it's probably I'm my name's Trizzy. I probably shouldn't just be launching straight into asking you about your tragic backstory and everything.
There's no tragedy to it. I'm a soldier. I do my duty. What do you need?
What I need is your help and advice. And I am coming to you as someone who knows a lot about the visiting Illithid delegation, and I'm gonna make an educated guess here, is aware that they sometimes make mistakes or are imperfect, and will maybe be a little open to someone who needs some answers.
It's a lot of words for a little creature. State your business plainly.
Okay, I'll state my business plainly. Do you know anyone from the Illithid collective that have come to visit the Resubian who would have a reason to want all of this to go poorly?
Tesfaye thinks about it, takes a big bite of brain, just like not. I'm trying to think. There's like an element of like posturing here, right? Where he's just like, look at this, upsetting visual for you as I chew through what looks to be a sapient creature's brain. Like Jack Nicholson is always like eating in people's faces and like The Departed and stuff.
Can it be a power move for Trizzy to just smile, be very deliberately unfazed about this?
Yeah, you want to give me intimidation to give this guy his attitude right back?
Okay, that's a 2. Trizzy does not look at all intimidating.
Yeah, so yeah, this first person does not respect you. You seem small. You don't have any psionics. Just nothing about you he respects. And he says, I'm not authorized to share any information with you, Goblin. Well, on what authority do you even deign to speak to me?
Look, you don't need to speak to me if you don't want to. I came to you because I thought that if there was anyone here who would give me a straight answer, not polluted by politics and red tape, that you might be the person willing to just say it how it is.
We're rebels now. It's all politics. Back on planet, we all had one mind, one purpose. Everyone knew their place. There was no need for politics. But now everybody's got an opinion. It's nothing but politics. It's a pain in the ass, speaking frankly. Did I use that idiom correctly?
You did indeed, and that's what I was hoping you would say. A lot of people here are still trying to play that politics game, and okay, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm just gonna be really open with you. One of my crew is in danger of being executed for something they didn't do. And I need to know if there is anyone you can think of who might have a reason to pit our sides against each other. With all of that bullshit politics.
Yeah, because you're just laying it out here, it's possible, like, you just revealed way too much information to the killer, right? So that you are putting something on the line.
Yeah. Trizzy is putting that on the line. Trizzy does not think this person is the killer, and is, like... The way she's trying to angle this is... You don't like the dance. You've made it clear during this conversation, you don't like beating around the bush and dancing around and not... And like, the politics of not knowing why things are happening, or people's various motives... Trizzy is just taking a Hail Mary of, I've told you a thing I probably shouldn't have told you. Can you be straight with me in response?
Yeah, but so since you're putting something at risk, I'm not going to make you roll here because, like, there's already a fail state inherent in your line of questioning.
Yeah.
So Tesfaye just says, there are a number of people in the fleet who were forced to rebel not because we love you kinds of, it like just trails off, goblins, ducks,
Yeah,
incubi.
yeah.
There are other reasons why some of us may have been forced to leave, and we couldn't care one way or the other whether or not any of this is anything. I can get a brain anytime I want, he says, pushing away the half-eaten artificial brain, seemingly with disgust. It's not that it like tastes bad, it's just like emasculating that someone gave it to him.
Trizzy responds, like, what kind of reasons?
For example, if an elder brain thought that we should have an alliance with another colony and pool our resources, and say I thought we should irradiate them from orbit, leaving not a single tadpole alive, and for that I was demoted in rank, for example.
Can you think of anyone who, despite not being a Eulitharid, might think that they're in a position to make those kind of decisions?
The kind of mind flayers, he says with some emphasis, who disagree with the Admiral's soft touch wouldn't have the audacity to do anything without my say-so.
I think someone is trying to ruin any chance of peace being an option. And whether you personally want it or not, I don't think it benefits either side of ours to be convinced we have an enemy that we don't. And if someone is trying to point us at each other, it's perhaps in our best interest to know who.
You can see all of the forks and spoons in the diner are curling from his psionics. Like, this is the equivalent of someone, like, they're shaking because they're angry, but he's psychic, so...
Yeah. It's... Look, you don't have to like peace to recognize that being manipulated into a fight isn't beneficial, if that's what's happening.
If Admiral Grice fails on his own merits, then I will lead the flotilla. But I do not need to maneuver in the dark to reveal him for the weakling he is. And I resent the implication.
That is the opposite of what I was trying to imply. I was trying to imply that there were people who were not you that were manipulating events around us.
Yeah, that's what he's agreeing. He's saying that he doesn't want to be manipulated. He wouldn't be caught dead with manipulators. If he was going to do something, he would just do it. Can I get insight? Because this whole conversation, I think, has reached, like, you've gotten the whole sense of the shape of the thing.
I've got as much out of him as he's going to say out loud.
All right, with an average, I think you see he's being straight with you. He would love to take over. He would love to be the guy in charge, but it's just not his style to go around doing sneak murders. Yeah. If this all goes bad and Admiral Grice is embarrassed, he absolutely will take over. He's not hiding, but he's just like, this isn't my style. He's a different kind of villain.
Do I get the impression that if he does work out something, he would let us know?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, to zoom out, I think what's happening here is that he is not involved with the murder, but if something would have, come to light, like, let's say if Saint Cecilia didn't successfully get Admiral Grice to go into life support, right? If they just paraded Cecilia in front of everybody, maybe he would have struck, been like, look at this incompetence, I'm taking over. He's like, now it's time for my coup. So I think what he will do is like sit in this diner until there's an opportunity for him to do something. If it benefits him to help, he'll help. If it doesn't, he won't. But right now, I think on the other side, what Cecilia has done has severely minimized the possibility that he is going to, try anything right now.
Yes, and he's probably not going to take what we've come and said and be like, ha ha ha, I will use that to go and start doing my own second problem that you need to be aware of. It's like, no, if we fuck up with Admiral Grice, we now know what the consequence will be, but like he's not actively scheming based on what he was told.
Yeah, especially with the Pineapple Protocol, he's not leaving the diner. But yeah, I think just all the different events colliding into each other, chaos theory style, has led to us being able to cross him off the suspects list.
Cool.
Not that he is a good man, it's just like, even in, movements of, politics you support or something, there are just sometimes bastards. Like, you can't discount the possibility that some people fucking suck, even if they're on your side. And so, this guy is just like a dickhead who just happens to not be, the culprit this time.
Yeah, that is what Trizzy was suspecting, and she'll take that for what it is and get away before fucking this up any further. Of note, she is not going to tell Bill how much information she gave away.
That's fair. That's a good idea.
Meanwhile, Andre says to Bill Webb, "Nice down. You look especially soft today, Bill."
Bill, okay, here we go. Bill flies up, not onto the stool, but right onto the counter. Takes out his knife.
Oh my god!
And doesn't slam it down on the table. He just kind of drops it and lets it clatter in a way that you can tell Bill thinks is intimidating.
Next to you at the bar is Jeff, who's made of swords, and Veltari, and they have long since stopped eating or drinking anything because they've been here for a while, and they just look at you. And I think Veltari says like, "When can we leave, Bill? You can't keep us locked in the diner forever."
I don't remember you. Anyway.
I'm going to throw in a little detail. Jeff, who's made of swords, they're scimitars.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Anyway, Bill turns to Andre, raises one duck eyebrow, and says, "What do you know about blood?"
"Oh, all kinds of things. Saint Cecilia has me working up a whole menu," Andre consummate professional, just pulls out a work in progress. Like there's different mixings, different cocktails and so forth. Austin doesn't know enough about alcohol to make this convincing.
That's fine. Bill looks and says, interesting. Who else on this ship drinks blood?
Oh, well, we have vampires come in from time to time. The Rezubian's a home for anybody who needs to escape. But I don't know if we have any other permanent crew members who are in the mood for blood.
Okay, Bill would like to see if this guy is lying. So, do I roll insight for that?
Yeah. Andre is telling you the truth. There have been a number of vampires who've come through Andre's place over the years, but he is not aware of any crew members, like permanent current crew members besides St. Cecilia. But with the 20, I think you could just ask him, like, hey, can I just like look around, see if there's any, signs of, vampire stuff?
Okay. Bill just says one more thing. When was the last time, besides St. Cecilia, a vampire has come in here for blood? Was it within, say, the last week?
No, it would have been about 6 months. There was some kind of Orlok-looking guy, real pale, real pointy.
Yeah. Right.
I hear they can turn into mist.
Some can. That's a thing I know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That wasn't that helpful, but maybe we can snoop around now.
Yeah, you want to roll investigation to snoop around?
Bill Webb, so good at snooping.
I roll my crit.
Perfect. Yeah, you crit. You can hop off the bar, go around back. Just be like, "Hey, I'm going to snoop Andre," and Andre's like, "Sure thing, Bill." And you just let yourself into the back of the restaurant. There's like a freezer and a pantry. You find that there's all these blood mix-ins. There's blood in the refrigerator, blood stuff. And I think you with a crit can see that a bunch of the inventory is missing. There's way less blood than there should be. I think specifically someone's been stealing from the back of a row or something to make it seem like that you wouldn't notice or something. Maybe some of it has been replaced with red water or something. This is what they call in the industry shrinkage.
Right.
Maybe even someone accidentally burst one of them. This is Andre would never have made this mess back here. Someone's been stealing blood.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's some new information. So there is another vampire on board. Whoever the vampire is not a member of the crew, and the vampire is probably not only do we know if there's a vampire on board, but we also know that this vampire is not letting anyone else know that they're a vampire. If they're going about this secretly.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we've got a secret vampire. We've got someone on the crew is just secretly a vampire and isn't telling us, and the doctor also won't tell us. And okay, I go find Trizzy and share this information.
Oh my God, that galaxy brain moment watching you, Leon. I could see the gears. It was incredible.
Okay. Okay. Thoughts. Is there any kind of event on a ship where, teams of people would stand in formation in their groups? I'm trying to think if there's any kind of event we could look up security footage of and go, there's someone missing in that lineup who should be in that spot. I look, there's no class picture day, I'm assuming, but, that's the equivalent of what we need is class picture day that we can look up the footage of and go, there's a missing spot.
Yeah. I have the crew manifest and all, now I have the crew manifest for the other people. I have the HR document for our people, but the HR document does not say secret vampire on it, as far as I know.
Yeah, you stole the personnel file for Cammy. If you want the crew manifest for the Rezubian, you got to go to HR, talk to Ophelia.
All right, I guess that's gonna have to be where we're going next.
Yeah.
Perfect. Meanwhile, St. Cecilia, you're in life support with Admiral Grice. This is a cavernous part of the ship. There are like huge solar panels probably that help store energy from passing stars, giant tanks of fresh water, some kind of complicated machines that generate gravity, all those kind of things. It is extremely intimidating, the size of all of these machines, because the ship is very big. And it's probably loud in here, but is there anything you're saying you're doing as you're walking through these almost like a canyon of giant machines that are keeping everyone alive?
I'd like to think Setsu is going to kind of like lean back against like one of these machines and like use her foot to like motion towards an ice cream machine and say, "You should help yourself. The special flavor on that one is ghost pepper. It is sort of like ironic thing. I guess you see the life support systems are working and you feel a little bit brave to do something dumb then."
I don't think it would be professional for me to take an ice cream sabbatical at this exact moment unless you could think of an official justification.
Well, I am under your custody, and if I wanted to get something, you would then feel obligated to get something too then, right?
Admiral Grice is already getting ice cream.
There you go. You know what? You're all good.
You've got to check that the ice cream isn't going to give your captive hostage superpowers or something. Like, if it's going to give them powers, you've got to have some too.
It would be an incredible breach of protocol if this ice cream allowed you to escape my custody, so I do have to taste it first. Oh, terrifying. Oh, wow, this is awful. I'm going to get some more.
I imagine ghost pepper ice cream would be quite nice because the creamy, milky ice cream bit would somewhat offset the ghost pepper.
Sure, this person also has the palate of a squid, so I don't know.
Who knows what
I'm
Yeah.
sneaking into SeaWorld to try a different ice cream on the cephalopods. That's how I'm getting arrested next, everyone.
Little spoon, like, try this one, little fella.
The Admiral makes a big cone for you, Cecilia. I think maybe even does any restraints you had. He never seemed invested in making sure you couldn't walk or use your hands, really.
Thank you. Saint Cecilia is going to be like, she's going to play along in like licking it, but she clearly is not interested or hungry right now. And she's just going to be like, so like, what's the punishment room like? What happens there? Like what's,
The punishment room is kept at a standard 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It is dark, specifically on a wavelength spectrum decided by the council every quarter. There's a brine pool, and there is I don't know if you need all the technical details, but your will to live and your selfhood are extracted very painfully.
Ice cream's better than that, right?
I've never had my selfhood extracted, but from the screams, I would say that's an accurate estimation, yes.
Say, can you read minds?
Absolutely. Are you thinking anything I should be aware of?
No, I just feel like it would help you a lot in your investigation if you just read my mind and I could show you that I was not there killing those guards. Would that not be a way for you to extract some level of proof or clarity on this situation?
I can read what you are thinking, but that does not stop you from thinking something that is false. A dedicated mind can contrive any number of fantastic scenarios which would mislead me during a mind read. In fact, this is one of the topics I discussed with your captain, Dumille, who is someone I hold in high regard, about his policies towards mind reading and telepathic communication. It's my understanding everyone on the ship can opt out of the hive mind, which is quite a novel concept. Still thinking about it.
There is a lot of adjustments that will be part of this process, I imagine, but the captain has set forward, I believe, a rather strong example.
Perhaps if my elder brain had been more like Captain Slack Dumille, I would have not needed to become an insurrectionist against my own people. But I suppose it does not bear thinking about, because I do not currently have access to time travel technology. but I will revisit this if that changes.
Can I roll an insight on him? I want to kind of gauge if he even believes that I actually did it at this point.
A 16 is great. I don't think Admiral Grice believes you did it. He hasn't tried to read your mind or even brought it up. The way you surrendered yourself immediately just was like, oh, this is a person of integrity and honor. Just was like immediately like, oh, this is cool. And what a brave thing to do. I hope if I'm ever in this situation, I also have this bravery. Like, it barely crossed his mind that you did it.
But you're still ready to just march. All right.
Yeah, because he doesn't want everyone else to die. He is also a person of integrity and honor who's like, if I don't take someone into custody, every soul on the Rezubian will be vaporized.
I can only imagine this is a difficult time, but if you are looking for an area in which you can feel welcome in the community, I believe the Rezubians' efforts are pretty aligned with what yours are.
Yes, that is why I contacted Captain Slackton-Meal to set up this transfer of the cloning technology. I think our missions are very much aligned. It's just why it's so unfortunate that you will have to die to save the lives of all your crewmates. I do apologize, but we are both, I believe, aware of the reality of the situation.
If it comes to it, it comes to it. But I have the utmost faith in my crew that they will find the answer.
Your certainty is unusual for someone who is not mentally connected to your party. Usually that kind of trust is only possible when you know for a fact someone is being honest with you. You just assume this is the case, which is illogical.
I work with extraordinarily capable people. Do you not have people you trust just based off of the content of their character and the skills that they have?
I used to experience absolute trust every moment of every day. And now I have only doubt because there's no way to be certain if someone is being dishonest. Any conversation, no matter how trivial, could be built on a foundation of lies.
No, it'd be really handy if you learned magic, you could just cast the zone of truth and then you don't have to worry about the line.
There are only so many hours in a day. You can either dedicate yourself to honing your psionics or to the study of arcane arts. And this decision has been made many millennia ago for us.
Saint Cecilia is going to kind of relax back, hands behind the head at that point, and just be like, unfortunately for vampires for a very long time, there was sort of a part and parcel of just dominating people who you were going to feed upon and have that air of superiority over them. It's a whole thing, and a lot of us, most of us, have pushed that behind us. It's not really a thing that interests us anymore. It's more interesting to be part of a collective than just forcing our will upon others.
But aren't there not traditionalist vampires who see this as a weakness and seek to overthrow your cowardice?
Sure, little cousin Brando, he's a fucking dick, He's never even tried synthetic blood, but, those are the choices that they make, and they might have to face punishment for it. Meanwhile, the rest of us are allowed to integrate into society and have positions of honor.
Speaking of honor, you did not offer any defense of yourself when I placed you under arrest. Do you not wish to dispute the charges? I understand your responsibility to your crewmates, but even if you saved all their lives, it would not bother you to be thought of as a murderer if you were not?
Well, I can't really control what will happen after I die, but I can at least control the narrative amongst the people that I do care about. And I think that most people would know my character enough to say that it is impossible. Even if the story is, oh, she killed these people, most people I know would say, That's not the Cecilia I know. Must be liar. Must be cloned from other dimension. Did they have goatee? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing, right? I'm trying to work through the psychological implications of a hive mind species not being linked anymore. Like, what does that do to trust and, anxiety over honesty and dishonesty and stuff? So your unwavering faith in your friends and stuff is like really shaken Admiral Grice. He's just like, how can you believe in people like that? How can you trust people like that? Like, you have no idea what they're thinking. I have experienced what it's like to know what everyone is thinking. So it's weird that you believe people.
Saint Cecilia will say, if it would help and you're interested, and I would like to let you read my thoughts. You can ask me anything you want, and you can see from everything I think, there's nothing I am trying to hide.
Okay, so you're going to do the Vulcan mind meld with this.
Yeah, essentially.
This angel alien. This is a great. And then, yeah, the background, there's just these, huge fans and generators and just a tank of fresh water the size of, a city block or something. This is like quite a visual space in the background through a viewport. And we are going to cut back to Trizzy and Bill Webb, who roll up on the HR office. I think the audience has been trying to think of alternatives to human resources. I think sapient resources was the best one.
Yeah, it's not an acronym that overlaps with something else particularly relevant, which is the big thing, because I kept trying to come up with examples and was like, no, that's just PR. There's a lot that overlap.
So Ophelia has taped SR over the sign that said PR officer. She is doing curls in her office because she can't leave because of the Pineapple Protocol. Oh, hello. How are you?
That voice.
I'm trying to do
very good.
A Laura voice because she just does her voice.
Yeah, I do this sort of voice. It's a little bit sort of like this. A little bit this.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Do you need something, Bill Webb, or are you just gonna criticize my accent?
Sorry. I was taken aback. We are actually looking for some sapient resource information on someone in the crew. Maybe you could help us out with that.
It's certainly possible. Are you going to let me out of my room? I have no more protein in here. She gestures to the empty supplement bottle.
Yes. Well, I suppose if you give us the information we want, this situation that we're working on will be resolved very quickly, and then we can get you out of the room. What do you think about that?
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Great. Okay. Who's a vampire around here? Bill just goes right into it. Who's got big old teeth?
Oh, well, Saint Cecilia is the only vampire on the crew, but it's funny you mentioned because I did have an application from a vampire to join the Rezubians some weeks ago, but they stopped responding to my emails.
Oh, okay. And the name of this potential applicant?
Let me see. She pulls up. She's just on her workstation. Type. Yes, this is from a Mr. Mathers.
Okay. Does Mr. Mathers have a first name, or is it just Mathers?
That was all that they provided. They actually asked if they could seek asylum here from persecution, and I asked them to fill out the standard application form, and they never responded.
Oh, well, that's interesting. What more information can you tell me about Mr. Mathers? Where's Mr. Mathers from?
Oh, great question. Since they're not a member of the crew, of course, they're not covered by confidentiality.
Yeah.
While this is going on, Trizzy has had like a thought, and thankfully, she shares a language with Bill.
Yes.
In Duck, Trizzy is going to quack. sort of nodding over at Ophelia. Danger.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. Ophelia, the big GIF woman, prints out the emails from this Mathers and shows them to you. It's just like, "Hello, my name is Mr. Mathers. I'm being hunted. Please help. I need somewhere to go." And then Ophelia responds like, "Yeah, sure. Here's the paperwork." And then nothing.
Yeah, Trizzy is trying to think of what words to, like, simple duck words to use to convey this, but what she's trying to get across is, I'm suddenly having a moment of worrying that Ophelia might be the vampire. I don't know if a GIF vampire can be a thing, but she really wants to get out of here for protein to consume.
oh,
And that suddenly rang alarm bells of, are you trying to get out of your room to go get blood that you've been shut away from for a while? Maybe it's a wild leap,
well, let me.
but like,
Oh, shit. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, so this is what Bill does. Bill takes out his knife, and he says, "Oh God, I need to sharpen this." Oops! And Bill accidentally cuts a little bit of himself so that he's bleeding, and he kind of puts the blood right up to HR Ophelia, and says, "Oh, look at this! Oh wow, cut myself a little bit there. What do you think?
Oh, darling,
Do you think I should see the doctor?"
Oh, no, sweetie, let me get you a bandage. I have actually a whole medical kit here. She pulls off, do you? A red box off the wall or something and, disinfects and bandages you.
This may be way off track, but like Trizzy's thought here is just, it is possible that someone applied to be on the crew, be on the ship, and then stopped applying and snuck onto the ship in some secretive way. But like Trizzy's thought here is this a cover? Because in case, if someone comes asking about vampires on the ship, someone tried to apply. Go investigate whoever that was. They probably snuck on.
Maybe. As Ophelia gets the stuff, Bill says, "Oh, look at this precious blood, blood." God, it's getting everywhere. Oh man, wonder what it smells like. Wonder what it tastes like. I don't know. Anyway, look at it stain my feathers.
This is getting slightly erotic.
Okay.
Do you want to roll insight? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, we may as well. Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on here. 10. No, it's not 10. I'm using my gosh darn what is it?
Your inspiration.
Yep. I'm using my other one, so now I'm down to 1 after that. So here I'm rolling again.
I forgot I gave you much for inspiration.
You gave
20.
You gave the person who keeps rolling crit after crit after crit. What was it? Double, triple inspiration?
Yeah. After my modifier, I have a 20.
Yeah, 20 is very good. Ophelia is not enticed by your blood. She doesn't seem interested. I think you can, with a 20, safely cross her off the list, but that's a very funny idea. I like your investigation method where you're like, someone on the ship's secretly a vampire. Let's test them. I think that's all. Yeah. That's all correct. It's just not her.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I'm glad, because that probably means that, like, she's not giving us a red herring clue. It was just one of those, like, anytime someone is like, I've got a helpful yet vague clue to point you away from me. Also, let me out my room so I can consume something. I was just like, I'm watching you.
Yep. That's all very good. But yeah, she gives you this information that there's a vampire was supposed to come aboard, which doesn't seem like it can be a coincidence, all things considered.
Can you give us any kind of visual description, assuming you hopefully had one?
Oh no, the gentleman did not give any pictures. There's no nothing in the file of that sort.
Do you have like a log of what dates since then we've like docked places where people could have like snuck on board the Resubian?
Okay, I think what's interesting here would be like a history roll to get more information. Because, obviously Austin Norsky does not have those records, but we can improv something together based on your role.
Yeah, basically trying to work out, like, is there an obvious time frame of when this vampire could have snuck on. 19 on history.
Yeah. Okay, this is perfect. So Ophelia says, like, oh, yes, if anybody would have snuck onto the ship, it would have been on this date. And then you're like, well, I don't know what we're supposed to do with that because they wouldn't show up on the fucking cameras, but I guess we can go check. And then you go back to Bill Webb's security desk with the sign that says, do you have a problem? And you're looking through the footage again. I think, Trizzy, did you crit on the other security footage? I feel like this is how the last episode ended, is you looking at the security footage and being like, oh my god.
I did get a crit right near the end of last episode. I don't know if it was for security, but of the security tapes, but it was another crit right before the end of the episode.
I don't know if it's like your super cool armor has like a magnifying glass, like a monocle setting or something you can zoom in, zoom, enhance.
It's whatever lens is used for finding the really, 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 really tiny screw that you dropped on the floor on a slightly dark floor that's not very well lit and a bit oily. It's like, there's my tiny screw.
Exactly, yeah. So you're looking over this with the fine-tooth comb, right? Here's the day when someone could have got on. You see like Wendy and McDonald leave the ship to go talk to, the illithid flump Jenny. You see like a human come in and be like, hey, what's the situation here? You see a halfling come on the ship and say like, oh, thank you for saving my life at the peace talks. You know, we're here are the implications politically, blah, blah, blah. They leave. You see someone come on and say like, oh, if you need help, you can call us. Thank you for taking down, the person who tried to assassinate this other person. There's just like all these people coming in and off the ship. But with a crit, a thing you notice is that there's a point where a door opens, no one comes in, it closes.
Okay.
Oh. Vampires don't show up on cameras, so you see like you start like switching camera, like Five Nights at Freddy's. You're like jumping from camera to camera.
Because I know what Trizzy's looking for at this moment is someone talking to someone who isn't there. Because the second someone talks to someone we can't see, that's who we go talk to. Because someone might be able to tell us who they saw.
So the invisible vampire talks to Barry. And
but it was Barry. No, let me look at my list again.
Barry the vampire.
Oh my god, that would be great. No, I think you watch the camera, you see the door open, then the door closed, no one's there. You see someone walk over. It's actually one of the pilots for the ships. This is like Kami, who's not on the Rezubian right now. She talks to this person. You see them walk away, like the invisible person must walk away because Kami stops talking to them. Then the janitor Emma comes up and talks to this person. Then you see Veltari the Bozog talk to this person, and then you see Barry talk to this person. Bridget, who's also not on the ship, just like a bunch of people talk to this person because they don't know that this is a vampire, right? Like it's not obvious that someone's a vampire necessarily, and then they just go deeper into the ship. And you see other doors opening and closing because they can just walk around and there's no obvious tell that this person is bad.
Look, I have no idea whether she's going to remember a specific offhand interaction on a specific day, but I feel like if there's anyone on that list who is currently on the ship and would help in a heartbeat, I think Trizzy needs to go to Emma. Because Emma, if anyone would scour their mind to find out what they remember, I think it's going to be Emma.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, we need to get more Emma FaceTime. Everyone loves this feathered worm. All right, so you all, with a crit, I think you know that a vampire snuck on, a number of people talked to it, and it didn't leave. It's been on the ship. Let me just say this plainly. The vampire's been on the ship for a while. It's been stealing blood to remain hidden. And then, people were murdered. No one else has been murdered up until this time, so it seems targeted for some reason. Like, the motives are mysterious. But also, I think this clears literally everyone from the illithid fleet. I mean, I guess it could be an illithid vampire, but like, it's weird that they wouldn't have been with the fleet the whole time. Like, someone would have noticed that.
If nothing, like, this isn't as strong as we'd ideally like it to be, but this is something that points to a vampire infiltrating our ship that we can point to an opportunity and something approaching evidence. This feels like we're getting somewhere.
Saint Cecilia, you have mind melded with Admiral Grice. Is there anything in particular that you want to show him? What is the visuals? This is like some Terrence Malick Tree of Life shit in my mind.
So I think what Cecilia kind of sees, and then what Grice sees, is essentially sort of like a series of frames from a film, maybe only like a couple in a row before it kind of blasts to something else very suddenly. And they're taken from all these various different places, these things that seem haphazardly, like too many genres colliding together. You know, in one scene, she's cooking food at a 5-star restaurant, and the next it's at a small town diner. One moment she's sneaking into an enemy encampment with a knife, and then the next she's killing a demon with a holy sword. There's a scene of her in a cathedral, this grand, lavish cathedral, and she's getting married, but she can't make out the features of the person she's with. There's just sort of a blank face there. In the next shot, she's being walked to the gallows. She's in handcuffs, and it's just sort of looming above her. And then there's a montage of funerals, some in these giant, lavish cathedrals, and then some that are just standing around an unmarked pile of dirt. And over time, the images get less clear. They sort of muddle and blend together, and then eventually fade into nothingness.
It is going to be much more difficult now to consign you to a terrible death, having seen so much of your life. Perhaps this was a mistake.
I'm afraid, as I said before, that my mission out here is to help integrate illithids into the wider cosmic space, and I don't think I could stomach you sacrificing yourself in favor of mine. Although I suppose it is weird to say, I think your existence is more significant to making this happen than mine is.
2 people died on my watch. Even if I find the killer, it's possible that I will face consequences.
How can this guy come out looking like $1 million?
Yeah, this is interesting because now it's like Saint Cecilia isn't trying to get the murderer. She's trying to keep Commodore Tesfaye from controlling the fleet, because this guy's just like, yeah, I might be a rebel, but no one's stopping me from being a total jackass.
Can I roll a history check? What would be something that would be considered like obscenely prestigious in Illithid culture, like an accomplishment someone could do?
Oh my god, that's great. Yeah, I would say like the most prestigious thing you could do is have a very high value thrall, or like a high value body, you know, like the most powerful example would be like what's called a brain stealer dragon in the canon. We called this, because I came up with that before wizards, the snallygaster, which is like when you put a tadpole in a dragon, and then you have that, which is essentially a weapon of mass destruction with a personality. Something like that. Like if Admiral Grice had some hand in something like that, or he already has a body, but if he had a thrall that was like that badass, he somehow got a tadpole and a Tarrasque, that wouldn't actually work because Tarrasques aren't sapient, but you know what I mean. That's like the thing that would like everyone would be like, no, this guy is too baller, we can't possibly coup this man.
That's not a thrall. I was gonna say, what if we constructed like the Giga Chad body? And like it's just super muscular and big, but that's not a thrall though.
Yeah, so I've mentioned a couple times there's a spell in D&D called Clone, which is the technology you're giving the illithids who don't use magic, that you can clone someone and then not put a soul in the body and then put a tadpole in there. So if you had a Giga Chad, you could clone it into a body that could then be implanted without ethical problems. when I look at the list of characters, the only person who's a Giga Chad is obviously King Humongous.
Oh, King Humongous, who's been here the whole time and is very real.
It's so funny.
Is it just because of his crown? Like, can I put the crown on anybody?
I think it's just something innate in his nature. He's been here the whole time, and you can't argue with that.
Okay, so the idea being, if I can get King Humongous to agree to be cloned, question mark, that could be considered like a thrall.
I think if Admiral Grace returned to the Evulsion with a squadron of King Humongi, they'd be like, oh shit, this guy rules.
I mean, a squadron of King Humongi controlled by someone who owes us a favor would be real good.
He swore vengeance on us last time.
Yeah, but we're just making a clone of the body. It's not like they're all going to be King Humongous.
Austin, I need to find King Humongous.
Fuck, I had absolutely no idea that this would even be a character, let alone plot important. It's so funny to me that we've ended up here. Is that what we're doing? Okay, so Cecilia, do you pitch? You're like, there's this guy, he's been here the whole time, and we all agree that makes him awesome. If you could clone him, your whole fleet would respect you.
Yeah, I feel like, look, I don't quite see it, but he has this crown, and everybody loves to like carry him and things like that. If you had like a whole bunch of them, I mean, you'd be looking pretty good.
All right. Oh my God. Okay. Yes. Perfect. We'll get back to you. Trizzy and Bill Webb, you return to the hangar. We talked about this before. There's a shuttle, a runabout with Mind Flayer guards. There's a couple of those guys hanging around. They're getting antsy. They're like, hey, when are we going to see the Admiral? Where's our security chief? Like, they're not digging what's happening. And then there's a couple other people milling about, but you're here for Emma, the alien feathered worm.
Yes. So like, look, Trizzy has suggested we go see Emma, not because of any awareness that either player have of Emma would be probably willing to be conducive with Trizzy. Purely, Cammy's not here. Barry is fucking Barry. No one goes to fucking Barry. He's terrible. Bridget is not here. Emma's just like, by process of elimination, the smart choice. So Trizzy is just going to very confidently walk over and go, Emma, I need your help.
Oh yeah? Is it something personal? Is it? Should I keep it a secret? Is it our secret?
It would probably be good if we could keep it a secret, yes.
Oh, she somehow claps her tentacles together?
Claps her wings?
Yeah. We're just gonna keep adding to this creature.
Yeah.
Her mandibles click. All right. Yeah, what do you need?
This is going to be a very weird, specific question, but I believe in you. Here's a date and a time. It was what? A little while back. It's not that long ago. Do you remember talking to anyone new on this day that you hadn't spoken to before? That, like, it might have been the first time you saw them on the Resubian.
Yeah, do you have like a little iPad with the footage on it?
Yeah. Trizzy will pull up and be like, you're talking to someone, do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah. Emma looks at that and she says, oh, the janitor? The new janitor?
New janitor?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I always see them in the garbage room. They're sorting the garbage, I guess. We're doing a new recycling initiative.
Trizzy will turn back to Emma and go, if you could give us like a brief description, that would be amazing. You have been so unbelievably helpful.
I love to be helpful. Austin's going to put an image in the Roll20, and actually, I would like you to describe how it makes you feel, because this is the quote-unquote new janitor.
Yeah. So, this is a floating eyeball covered in tentacles. It is a sphere with just a single eye, and a single eye floating sphere. I don't know whether Trizzy would know this, but that's probably a beholder of some kind, or some beholder variant.
He's so cute. Look at him. He's just like a little meatball with a big old eye, and he has a bunch of little tentacles with little teeth on them.
Yeah, the tentacles look like they've got little mouths on the end of them. This is the shyest, saddest looking, like, oh, I'm so embarrassed to be here,
He's
beholder
just
I've ever
hungry.
seen.
I want to give him a little kiss on the forehead.
Yeah, so this creature has a big main body with a red eye, like the the iris of the eye is like blood red, and it goes from a very light pink at the center to the ends of its tentacles. The pink gets darker and darker until it's blood red, and all of these tendrils on its body end, as we said, in kind of lamprey like mouths, so like sucking, grasping, toothy maws. Trizzy. You know what beholders are. You know that they are big eyeballs with tentacles, but those tentacles end in eyes that shoot lasers.
Yeah.
So
and beholders typically like also have a big mouth that's like swallow a person size, and I don't see much mouth here at all.
I think Bill Webb earlier crushed that information roll about vampires. So I'm gonna, before we roll for anything, say when Emma describes to you a floating eyeball with tentacles, but goes from pink to dark red with sucking tendrils, Bill Webb's like, oh yeah, a beholder vampire, because any species can contract vampirism.
Yeah, it's highly contagious. There can be dog vampires. There can be there can be any kind of vampires you can imagine. So this boy is not immune to being a vampire, and I guess we have to go arrest or kill it now, right? Or, well, you know what? We need proof. So we'll figure it out when we get there.
Isn't there also, there's a movie about a vampire cow, I'm pretty sure. I remember this from my childhood. But if you would like to roll history to know about this specific thing more in depth, outside of the fact that it is simply a vampiric beholder, that's when I can answer your question about what people's opinions of them are.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Quinn said in the chat, Hell Cow is a Marvel character, vampire cow.
Yeah.
I only know it exists because of Marvel Snap.
17 on history?
I got 3, so that's not helpful.
17 is exactly what we were looking for. You win. Trizzy, I think you've probably heard scuttlebutt about beholders in the system. The away team has run into some and has been thinking about them. They really, really love isolation. They love keeping to themselves. If there was a beholder on the ship, people would assume that it wants to be left alone and give it a wide berth. So like just the cultural expectation is like, oh, this beholder must be here for a reason. It's none of my business, and I don't want to get involved. So if it keeps itself scarce, in fact, Emma said like, oh, I've only ever seen this creature in the garbage room. Like who even goes down into the garbage room? That's not a place people hang out. If they entered the ship, saw like a couple people headed to the garbage room, and have only ever snuck out to steal blood, it's totally understandable why that not have come to anyone's attention, especially because it's not a crew member. It's not on the manifest. I'm just going to say this outright. This is Mathers, who applied to be on the ship and then for some reason snuck onto the ship and has been hiding and stealing blood. The name of this specific kind of beholder is a blood kiss.
That's amazing.
Okay, Mr. Mathers, the blood kiss. All right. Just writing it into my NPC file. Okay.
Such a cute little guy, and it's like a beautiful name. I love them.
Yeah. So, what do you want to do with that information? Emma tells you that's where they've seen him.
Well, let's go to the janitor's closet or wherever the janitors congregate. Janitor hall.
Yeah, there's a number of janitor's closets, but specifically, she says she saw him in the garbage, room where there's like a crusher and there's a incinerator and there's that kind of stuff. It's like a dark hallway.
Lots of things that could kill us. Great, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I think I know which side of this question Bill Webb would probably land on. But Trizzy's question here, I'll do this in character, is but before we go in all guns blazing, is it worth considering if they genuinely were trying to come here as a refugee and snuck on not with any nefarious purpose in mind, or are we going in assuming the refugee status was a cover to do nefarious things, and then they snuck on still to do nefarious things, and like they're here for nefarious reasons, full stop?
Well. Here's the thing. Let's say best case scenario. Mr. Mathers, the blood kiss, is having a bad time, wants to come on board, isn't causing too much trouble outside of stealing some blood, and then fucking murders two guys, and nearly gets us all killed. We don't have to like straight up like murk this guy, but
I understand that maybe the right... I'm asking this out loud because I understand that maybe the right call is that we go in, shoot first and ask questions later, because I don't want to run the risk of us being... I feel like I should put the question on the table, but I also don't want to open us up to being misled by someone who maybe knows we're coming and maybe has a plan for what to do if someone comes looking for them.
Oh, I see. We might actually be on the same page on this.
Maybe I want to know that we have a plan, as like that we have a solid plan going in.
I say we kick in the door, we shoot him in the face, we tie him up, and then we try to, and then we interrogate him after he's subdued, and then we alert and this is all best case scenario if we live through it, but assuming that things go well, then we inform the Illithids what's going on.
So Trizzy and Bill Webb argue strategy as they go. They exit the hangar, go to the trash room. There's a dark hallway. There's a big staircase down into the depths. You don't see anyone else. As Bill Webb mentioned, no one goes to the trash room. The smell is overpowering.
Oh, lovely.
As you descend into this complex, because this is a whole, this is a whole society's worth of garbage. Everyone who lives here, everything ends up in this facility. There's a huge crusher. You can hear it working in the distance, reverberating through the walls. You can feel the heat of some kind of incinerator. It's like, descending into a Hieronymus Bosch painting in the guts of the ship. And as you go deeper, you realize that you can't see very well in this darkness.
I do have dark vision. Does that help?
It does. In fact, can I get dexterity saving throws? Trizzy with regular and Bill with disadvantage because you cannot see as something comes down from the ceiling.
12.
This is disadvantage, right? Okay. 23 and 25.
It was meant to be a punishment. My dude rolled a fucking bump 20 for each one.
All right, so Bill Webb and Trizzy, you enter the trash room. It's dark and smelly in here. There's the loud clang and roar of machinery. There's heat from an incinerator, and a vampire leaps out at you from the darkness. You see its one red glowing eye. You notice the blood-kissed beholder. Roll initiative.
20.
I have 9.
Oh, that means I have to have a plan of what I'm doing.
Yes.
Yep. Trizzy, you're up first. So you are not surprised at all. The blood kiss beholder, leaps out at the two of you. You just turn around, snap 180 degrees like fucking a Resident Evil character with the quick turn, and you see it coming towards you. It's pretty big. But, it's bigger than either of you. You're notably the smallest party members, but you're not surprised. So, Trizzy, you're up.
So, I'm picturing this room, and, correct me if I'm picturing it wrong. I'm picturing this, the trash compactor room from Star Wars, in that, this is a room that is explicitly for, loudly crushing and crunching various trash and whatnot. Am I picturing this about right?
Yeah, I think part of the room is literally the Star Wars compactor. There's also some dark corridors, the kind, Freddy Krueger chases people through.
Oh, I was just going to say, the Star Wars trash monster also had one eye, so it's just I don't know if that was planned, but it worked out.
So my thinking here is I can probably use the spell I want to use without arousing suspicion, because this is a place where loud noises are commonplace. Trizzy's gonna cast Shatter.
Hell yeah, I love this spell.
Yeah, a sudden loud ringing noise, painfully intense, erupts from a point of your choice within range. Each creature within a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point, which I'm going to assume can just be our beholdery friend here, because I'm the first one going in the order. They're going to need to do a Constitution saving throw.
21.
That is successful, but they will still take half damage on a success, so let me roll that damage.
Yeah, so this huge explosion sound rings out. The holder, recoils in some anger.
Yeah. I rolled 19, and then that has to be halved.
Yeah, so that's 9 damage.
Yeah.
What's the source of this explosive sound? Because it hits the beholder, it shouts something in another language. I think probably deep speech, and recoils when hit by that.
Yeah, I think Trizzy tries to make it sound as natural a sound of being in here as possible, so it's the sound of metal crunching against metal, sort of smacks into them.
Is that your suit can just shoot that noise?
I think that the way that this works is Trizzy bashes a couple of pieces of the armor together to just sort of reverberate but sort of crunch against each other. Just really, really ram that metal against metal.
Awesome. All right. The beholder says something else in deep speech and lunges at the two of you, striking out with its tendrils. Normal beholders have, eyes at the end of each stalk. This one instead has kind of sucking, toothy mouths. So to Trizzy, 9, and to Bill, crit.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
The 9 is not going to hit me, which is good, because I've already lost a bit of AC. I'd like to keep what's left.
All right.
That I assume that hits me.
Yep. You're going to take 10 damage, Bill, and the sucker attaches to your body. It is basically the mouth of a lamprey. You are pierced by, a couple dozen small teeth as it latches onto you and starts draining your blood. And you are going to lose 1 AC as the rust monster constellation sparkles in a distant system.
Okay, I'm gonna put that down to 15 then. Okay, and I guess it's my turn.
Absolutely.
And Bill says, "You getting this close to me? It's very easy for me to hit you with my burning hole." So I just put it like it's right up on me. So I just do the thing where I put it up against its head or whatever and just fire. So that'll be 15 damage.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you don't need to aim. You set it and forget it. You just blast the beholder with this weapon, and all these flaming projectiles shoot out and start ripping through the creature. It curses at you in deep speech, which you do not speak, I believe. And then we're back to Trizzy.
I think I'm gonna go with the blasts of electricity. Let's go the lightning blast route. Let me roll to hit.
I just realized this thing does not have a nose.
It does not appear to have a nose. No.
No.
Okay, so 11, does that hit?
That does not hit.
Nope, that's okay, but I can do a second one with this. 23.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the regular damage, then an extra d6, so... 3, so 9 more damage as I blast some lightning bolts out of my out of my mech suit.
All right, yeah, you start zapping. The beholder, it turns to you. It tries to take a swing at you with its tendrils, but you're too far away, Trizzy, because obviously you would fight at range here, and it's instead going to spend its entire turn trying to drain all the blood out of Bill Webb's tiny bird body. Because it has hit you, you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Because that's the way this mechanic works. Is once you're latched on, it begins vampirically emptying your blood.
Oh, is it gaining health back every time it does this?
Oh yes.
Okay, here we go. 6.
That's not going to do it.
Does that do it, Austin?
It does not. The
But
blood
this thing's little tentacles look so stringy. It looks so weak.
But that's why it needs a big sip of hemoglobin. 9 from Bill Webb. Big gulp. This is a huge one of those 7-Eleven ones you can fit an entire baby inside of.
I think I know how to, for a second, fix this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, it's my turn. Part of me is like, one good thing I could do right now is can I like try to cut off the tendril off my body with my knife, but the burning hole just does so much more damage, or could its maximum amount of damage is much higher, I think.
Yeah, there's a mechanic for this. You have to beat a DC 14 to escape from being latched onto.
Here's the thing: if you don't manage, I have a plan for getting this thing off you.
Yeah, his strength is not good. I'm burning hole again.
Oh
16.
Okay. Yeah, you once again empty the clip into the blood kiss. And I think, flavor-wise, maybe shear a tendril off somewhere. It has a bunch. It has like a dozen, so it's not...
Yeah.
It's still fighting fit, but that's a good amount of damage you've dumped into it now. So we're going back to Trizzy. Trizzy, you see Bill Webb being brutally drained, and you're like, oh man, if only there was a third person in this combat, maybe it would be balanced. That way.
Well, if only I had a plan. I'm going to assume that this creature knows Common because it wrote a letter wanting to come to the ship in Common. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm going to use the spell Command. So I'm going to need a Wisdom saving throw. The command is just one word: detach.
Oh, interesting. And you'll notice from the bonus I'm about to roll. Ooh, notice from the bonus. That was fun to say. Wisdom, not one of its better stats.
Fuck you.
Oh shit.
I always
Thanks,
jinx it.
Austin. I love you for that. That's great.
Yeah, so -1 on the bonus, 18 on the roll because that's how it goes. But you say detach. And speaking in common now, the Bloodkiss looks at you, Trizzy, and says, no.
Aw, it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Please.
Don't wanna.
Oh, is this a child? Oh no, we're dealing with some sort of child vampire.
Ooh. Okay. Trizzy responds, if you drain this duck for blood, you're gonna get in trouble. We could go just get you some blood that you wouldn't get in trouble for. Like, we can just go get you some if you'd like.
All right, Trizzy, roll persuasion, I think, here.
Yeah. Okay. It's not one of my good numbers, but as you have demonstrated, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's 8. Can we
tried my trick.
we swap bad rolls, Austin?
Yeah, I think the Bloodkiss looks at you. It's one big red eye, kind of plaintive. It's like trying to search your intentions, and then it just goes thirsty, And your turn is over, I believe, unless you're going to do anything else.
Yeah.
And it's going to try to take another big sip from Bill Webb.
Bring it. All right, so this is another one of those.
Constitution saves.
14.
That is actually exactly what I was looking for. So nothing happens on a save. I was like, oh, maybe
Tight.
half damage? Nope. It tries to take a big sip, and you, I don't know, pull away, or what are you doing? I guess it's your turn. You can bring this into your action.
I distract it by snapping, and then it gets all weirded out because this is a child, and I would like to think that they are easily distracted by shiny objects and things.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I wave my knife in front of its big eye, and the light catches it, and that stops the child.
All right. It's your turn. What are you gonna do?
Okay, but before I murder this child, I want to try
Ominous opening.
I want to try something similar to what Trizzy was trying, and that is intimidation. I want Bill to say, stop this right now, or you're grounded.
Oh my god! Advantage because you have figured out what's going on and are using it cleverly.
Okay, cool. Intimidation. That's just a regular roll 20. So I do that twice. I have a 19 and an 18.
All right, 19 works. The blood kiss recoils and looks at you and says, "Grounded."
Yeah. You've been drinking too many people's blood, and if you stop now, maybe there will be mercy for you.
The sucker detaches from your body. Bill Webb, how many more drains could you have even survived?
Great question. I am at 10 hit points.
All right, yeah. You took 9 in the last one, so
you never know.
Yeah, that would have cut it close.
Yeah. Okay. Bill is done being the disciplinarian now. I don't know exactly what's next with what we're gonna do with this vampire child eye.
Yeah, the blood kiss kind of floats backwards a little bit and looks at the two of you and says, "Mad at me?"
Trizzy's gonna try and step in as the not bad cop here.
Okay.
And is gonna go, no, like we're here because we need to ask you some questions, and it's all gonna be okay. But do you think you could help us?
I helpful.
Yeah, I'm sure you can be. Do you know anything about some guards that died on the ship?
No, I'm not allowed to leave here.
Who says you're not allowed to leave here?
Friend.
Which friend is that?
Friend, take my blood.
A friend took your blood.
Oh no! Is there another one?
Yep, Leon.
Oh no! This was the mid boss.
Yeah.
Yep, I feel like Leon's figured it out. The blood kiss snuck on board, trying to seek asylum per its letter, and someone befriended it and has become a vampire from its blood and stowed it away here.
Okay, Bill steps forward and says, "What's your friend's name?"
Friend.
Oh, for God's sakes!
It's very important that we talk to your friend. Do they tend to come visit you? Like, is there any way you can talk to them if you need to?
No, they come down and say, make sure if anybody comes here, you gotta drink them.
Oh, I bet you're really good at coloring.
Oh God!
Could you draw us a picture?
I've never colored before. What's that?
Trizzy's gonna try and draw in some just like finger painting with oil on the back of like a sheet of crumpled up paper this vampire beholder, and be like, "Oh, it's you."
The blood kiss, I guess we can call him Mathers, and we know that. Dabs a little blood from Bill Webb's wound, and then just slaps it on some paper, just like
Jesus.
slap, 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 slap. Just Jackson Pollocking the whole thing.
Yeah.
I did a good job.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did a good job.
Okay. Bill steps up, takes out a sketch pad. This is okay. I'm just going. I want to roll for. I guess this is performance. To be the police sketch artist to get more information out of this guy, because clearly, like, we're on the right track, but that's not going to work. Is that a thing I can roll for?
So theoretically, yes, but there is an art proficiency you can take, and I don't believe anyone took it, so I can't give it to you for free. But
Right.
I believe Mathers will identify the vampire who's been stealing blood on the ship and killed the guards if you bring Mathers around the ship and say, is this the person? Is this the person? Is this the person?
Okay. Well, can we try and get like the some Guess Who style basics? Like,
Yeah.
are they big
I
and
feel like
tall,
that's
or are they
reasonable.
small like us? Are they like? Can we get some yes or no basics to work off?
Bread basket wise, how big is this thing?
Million.
Fuck. Oh. This child does not know math.